All right, now we're going to talk about the negative side of the Carcano rifle system. I mean, a lot of the Italians don't say anything good about this gun. Okay, and it was their national rifle for years. You have to understand, this is 1891 was the design of this gun. Okay, it's a way old, obsolete design. By the time World War I come around, there were a lot of other designs. See, firearms technology changed so rapidly in that time period that unless the country kept with it, okay, they fell behind. And this system, this Mannlicher style system with the split bridge here on the receiver and everything, is a much older design, okay, and has its shortcomings. I have also included a Mosin Nagant, because that's another example, okay. The thing is, though, the Mosin Nagant is a little bit better designed than this one here. Now, the shortcomings of this is the Mannlicher style in-block clip, okay, the old-fashioned split breech, and the Italians designed this gun around a 6.5 millimeter cartridge that is unique and does not work in anything else but this rifle. Also, they use a diameter of a bullet. The standard 6.5 bullet is 264 thousandths in diameter. Be it the 6.5 Dutch, Swedish, whatever. All the 6.5s and all the other military calibers, Japanese and that, use a 264 diameter bullet. The Italians used a bullet that was 268 thousandths in diameter. And also, when I look at the ammunition, the cartridge is unique and designed for this. It has a weird rim, so you can't really, other than carving up something, make something like it. The rim is unique to itself on the Carcano in the head, which makes it's a downside, because for a time nobody's manufactured ammunition until recently. Okay, but for many years, that is why these guns were cast off to the side and whatever. If you could find old surplus ammo, you could shoot them, but Norma did manufacture ammo, which isn't quite right. I have to take that back. I think Norma did. But Norma ammo back in the 70s was $1 a round. Okay? So that's like saying the same thing. I mean, I could go to a department store at the time and buy a box of brand new commercial 30-30 for $5. Okay, so if you look at it in that money, you were paying $60, $80 for a box of ammo for a gun you paid $30 for. Okay, I mean, that's what I mean. I could pick up a Carcano back in the 70s for $30, a nice one like mint, and it would cost me $20 for a box of ammo to shoot it. You know, brand new ammo. So that was one derogatory thing. Another thing is the cartridge is not that powerful. Both the 6.5 and the 7.35. They're not really powerful cartridges. I think they generate well under 50,000 psi. Okay, so there isn't a lot of modern cartridges when it comes to taking this weapon and converting it into something else. This is another downside. The reason these guns were passed over in that, you couldn't readily convert them into a sporting gun. In other words, any Mauser, okay, any bolt-action Mauser from the 94 on up to the 98, there was a whole industry after World War II where you can take the actions and have barrels and stuff made, and basically the head and base of the Mauser cartridges, be it 7mm, 6.5, 8mm, pretty much married up to a whole array of other sporting cartridges. So you did not have to modify your bolt, okay? The only thing would be the length of the cartridge of what you can convert it to. So a lot of other military guns were converted. This gun probably is the worst. And the thing about it is with split breech or the split bridge on the receiver, you can't mount a scope like a Mauser where the bolt is back here and you got solid points. So putting a scope on this gun, other than making some sort of side rail type thing where you had to drill and tap and attach a side rail scope mount, which that was done in the 50s and 60s, this gun couldn't be sporterized. So that was another negative thing. The ammunition is a negative thing, which still is a negative thing. Okay. The sights that come on it are unique in the way the Italians have them. They, you can figure out how to use them, and I'm going to have to do things specifically about the sights. But the thing is, the way they are, most of them were regulated maybe to 300 meters to 400 meters. Okay, you have to understand these are military weapons. They're not sporting weapons. They're not hunting weapons, and a lot of people have trouble with accuracy in using the sights themselves. Also, the actions are kind of quite crude. Okay, the action's not the smoothest. It's pretty simple. Okay, the extractor and everything, and the functioning of the guns, depending on the condition of the one you have or whatever, can be difficult. So that's why a lot of people call them trash rods. As you see, this bolt here don't move smoothly. Okay, but then again, much like our friend here, the 9130, again, another weapon design. It's got a split bridge here on the receiver. I remember when these come in, the big thing was sticky bolt, the sticky bolt. And I got a sticky bolt in here, and I got to modify the gun. The guns are pretty much cranked out. I think, what, 17 million of the Mosin Nagants? They weren't designed to be smooth operating guns. You want a smooth operating gun, go to a sporting goods store and buy a nice hunting rifle, okay, and drop $500-600 down. You got a smooth bolt that works fine. Okay, these guns are kind of rugged. They're not smooth acting. The bolts can be tricky on them. The extractors are problematic. And the way the extractors work, unless you're feeding it from the clip underneath where the bolt picks it up and then slides it up under the extractor, if you put a round in a chamber and slam it in there, basically you will break the extractor eventually, if not the first time up. So there's a lot of negative things here, and somebody's brought up the question rebarreling or changing this, like people would have barreled actions, and well, we're going to go and do a 308 or some other type of conversion to another caliber. That ain't going to work, okay? Because number one, the way the bolt face is, you would have to heavily modify it to take the rim of the other cartridge. And really, you can get a custom barrel probably threaded for whatever the thread in the receiver is, but nobody is going to make, because somebody was asking me to get a new 6.5 barrel. You're not going to get a 6.5 Carcano chamber cut. Maybe you can, but the price of that barrel is going to way exceed the price of your gun. And putting another cartridge in there in the 6.5, unless it's like the 6.5 Mannlicher or something, I don't know if the action or that could hold it, because the Carcano is not a very powerful, high-powered weapon. So that's a lot of the negatives on this. And people call it a trash rod. They don't understand how to use the sights. And I said, well, I'll go over that in sights. And so they can't figure out the sights. It's not simple. It's a pain in the ass. They can't hit nothing with it. They say the guns are inaccurate. Well, the problem is, with all military surplus guns, if you only buy one example out of the pile, you may get one that's worn out and it ain't going to shoot good with anything. Okay, I've run across that. Okay, that's the reason why I have numerous examples to sort this out. And yes, it cost me a ton of money, but when you come to me looking for an answer, and I tell you this is my opinion or whatever, okay, it's based on fact and my experience, not out of a reference book or some conjecture or just my opinion. It's what I've known from the more than 30 examples I've owned over the years, okay? So that's kind of the negative aspects of this. The cartridge is the, part of the devil in the details, the wear on the gun, okay? Because some of these guns are 100 years old. This one here, 1918, this gun is over 100 years old, okay? You're not dealing with something that was manufactured in the 70s or 80s and you bought used. You're dealing with a 100-year-old item, okay? So this is something else people have to keep. And then people come up with videos of how do I get the bolt to be smoother, how do I get the action to work better, and much like, and that's why I brought the Mosin Nagant out, the crazy nonsense of the sticky bolt. And everybody doing this weird stuff, and then one guy said he ground something on the bolt and that stopped, but now it doesn't work right. Okay? You can't tune these things up like a sporting gun. The actions are rough and rugged, and that is the way they're designed, okay? So if you don't like that, then go and collect something else, But that's why, so my advice is you're not going to convert this into something, or even if you got a beat up one or one with a shot out barrel, you're not going to rebarrel it, okay? You can try, you can do it, okay, but the amount of money you would have to put into doing it makes it totally not worth it. And also the the action itself, you would have to very seriously modify the bolt to get that to work with something else. Again, it's not worth the time and trouble, okay? And also, you're just kind of confined if you wish to shoot this. First you have to get proper ammo, and then you have to get used to the sights. And more on that when I discuss sights and accuracy, because there is no simple answer to this. So those are the negatives, and that's kind of why this gun for many years was cast off to the side. Much like the Japanese rifles. I mean, they were common, they were cheap, but they were awful difficult to sporterize and drill and tap. Even though you could drill and tap it, the steel on it was so hard, it was almost impossible to mount a scope on them. It was a very difficult job, and a lot of gunsmiths wouldn't do it, okay? So some of these surplus guns have a very negative background about them. Then the stories of that they were inferior, weak, not powerful, those are all false about them. They're made out of quality items and for what they are, okay? This gun is exactly what it was designed to do for the cartridge that comes with it, okay? Nothing wrong with it, quality-wise. All right, so that's the negatives on it. So, all you guys ask me, can I rebarrel it, do this? The answer is, to me, in my opinion, is no. It's cost way more, and it really doesn't benefit it, to do it. And there's really not much you can do to sporterize them. It's best to keep them in their original condition and don't mount a scope on them. Okay, I mean, there's ways of doing it by putting a long eye relief on here, but modifying the gun or tearing it up because, you can't get accuracy or shoot it well is not the way to go, and I don't recommend it. So in the future, don't even bother. I hate being rude to people, but I make these videos, state my opinion, and then somebody, I want to do this. No. But I have the video now that I'll just send you the link. All right.